What's up, everybody? It is your boy Troy from Marks on Media here with you today. I have added some new streams, and somehow, uh, I have lost a certain stream. I am live for the first time on Facebook and Instagram, so I hope you are joining me on any platform. We are live on YouTube, on Rumble, on Locals, on Kick, Facebook, Instagram, as I mentioned. Uh, I was supposed to be live on X, and we've been live on X every single week, but for some reason, when I tried to go live at the beginning of the stream, it was like, nah, not today, man. I don't know why. It's really weird. Weird. I don't have that queued up, but you get it. You get it. Uh, but yeah, we're live for the one and only time this week, as far as I know. How y'all doing today? How y'all doing? So anything interesting happen over the weekend? anything anything newsworthy? Anything big and beautiful and newsworthy? Well, maybe not beautiful, but yeah, lots of things, man. Lots of things. None of which we're going to be talking about, except for a couple of dearly departed people. We're going to be eulogizing a little bit on today's stream. I have a certain person that we're going to eulogize just a wee bit here on the stream. I have an article I'm going to pull up for that. Shannen Doherty, we're going to be talking about her passing. Obviously, for anybody that pays attention to this, Richard Simmons passed away over the weekend. I know it's media because he was on TV for years. My connection to him, I never watched his stuff. I didn't care about Richard Simmons, not my kind of thing. But my grandmother, who passed away last year, watched all of she had a bunch of his cassette tapes, the VHS tapes growing up, when I was growing up. The sweating to the oldies, sweating to this, sweating to that, whatever. That was his thing. For anybody that doesn't know, it was weird, but he was a workout guru. He was a little eccentric. Sorry, looked like I had something on my hat there. But he passed away over the weekend. I'm not gonna so much talk about him. But yeah, lots going on, man. Lots going on. Uh, just temperature check. How's everybody out there doing today? I hope you all had a good weekend, all things considered. My weekend was boring. I didn't do anything with my weekend. Yeah, so I trimmed the bushes. I guess that counts as something, I guess. It's been raining a lot. Just and like random rain just popping up here in the Midwest. Like strong winds, random rain. I don't know what the hell is going on, man. I don't like it. And when you really need to mow your grass like I do, it's a pain in the ass. So yeah, but we're not here to talk about weather. I will say, if you're not following me or subscribed to me, I should say, if you're not subscribed to me, please do subscribe to me now. Follow me if you're on Rumble, I guess is what it is there. And if you want to follow me on social media, Facebook, X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, I have slightly different handles, and it's because different names are taken on different platforms. Different platforms will allow different things. It's really annoying. I like uniformity. You really should shoot for uniformity with all your usernames or whatever. It makes it a little harder, especially when you're trying to tell people to follow you. Real quick, just to shout that out. If you want to follow me on, if you're not on YouTube, you want to check out my YouTube that has a bunch of shorts that are not included in long form videos. Also, long form videos, all of my old podcast archives for the main event marks, which was a retro wrestling podcast that I did with my friend Greg, who passed away this past December, which is why the show ended. You can check that out, youtube.com/ at Marks on Media. I changed the handle on there. I changed handles on pretty much everything except Rumble. If you want to follow just the main event Marks, or excuse me, just the main event Marks on Media, can't talk today. Just the Marks on Media channel. That's fine. It would be rumble.com/C/ Marks on Media. Or if you want the whole channel, it's got the main event Marks and which is wrestling related content, and also the Marks on Media. It's rumble.com/user/main event Marks. That's the overarching username. My locals, if you want to join my locals, once I start getting some members, I will post locals exclusive content. Once I get members on YouTube as well, paid members, I will post members only content on there as well to make it worth your time. But locals is locals.com/Marks on Media/feed. Kick, if you want, if you're part of the Kick community and you want to follow my stream on there, is kick.com/Marks on Media. On X/Twitter, my handle is at Marks_on_media. Instagram, same thing, Instagram.com/Marks_on_media. Facebook, I tried changing it. They don't allow underscores, and Marks on Media was already taken. So it's facebook.com/Marks on Media tube. So now that I've got all that out of the way, thank you for joining me today. We are going to get right into it, shall we? Uh, Give me 1 second here. Let me pull up the first story. Da, 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 da. I may have to take a break at some point, but we're going to try to make that not a thing. All right, here we go. English anime localizer claims my dear friend Nokatan subtitle controversy is an example of why, quote, we need to educate Japanese companies on what good localization looks like. I haven't dug into this one, so I kind of want to go over this together because anime localization has been a big, like the English localization of anime has been a big controversy for a while. It's seeping into video games as well, where um the English localizers have taken it upon themselves to change the meanings of things and just flat out change the translation of everything. So they insert their own politics in there. They're like, I'm not really going to translate this to be even close to what you were saying. I'm going to change this to be uh, what I want it to say because I have a personal agenda I want to push. I have a certain axe to grind with certain people. I want certain messages being conveyed in this show that I didn't create. I'm just translating for. So they do that, and there's not a lot of oversight for it, unfortunately. But here we go. An English localizer is citing the recent debacle regarding Ramao's English language sub release of My Dear Friend Nokatan as an example of why the West needs to educate Japanese studios as to what good localization looks like. Let's see if this is uh condescending and crappy of them or if they're being serious. And as you can see here, Western localizers attack fans looking to AI for more accurate handling of Japanese media. You clearly can't appreciate the work of humans. Uh, no, no. Because if AI is doing a better job than you are at keeping to the integrity of the translation and the localization, then no, we don't appreciate your work. If you're doing a bad job, then no, I will never appreciate your work. Period. But let's get into this. While watching the July 7th season premiere of the adorable animal slice of life comedy anime, My Dear Friend Nokatan, fans noticed that something was amiss with the anime English language subtitles. From choppy capitalization to randomly inserted punctuation to the occasional nonsensical line, almost every line of the episode's subtitles were marred with some sort of blatant error. Faced with such bizarre translation, many fans began to speculate that the botched job may have been the work of AI, and thought it currently, I believe they mean, and though it currently remains unknown whether the subs were done by machine or human hand, the mere speculation of the fact prompted yet another round of AI localization discourse. Of course, enter notorious Japanese to English localizer Katrina Lewin Lewin Leonaudicus Leonicus. I feel bad sometimes when I can't pronounce these names properly, but either way, I'll go with Katrina L. Perhaps best known for proudly boasting about how she ran roughshod over High Dive's English subtitles for My Life as Anukai-san's Dog. I'm sorry, I've never heard of some of these animes. I do watch anime, but I don't like dig deep into the obscure ones. So I don't know. I know there's going to be one person. Well, actually, there's like thousands of people that watch this anime. Like I'm sure there are. I'm not saying it's like underground. Nobody knows about it. Only for the cool kids kind of thing. But I mean, when you're talking relatively like how many people know about it out there in the mainstream, I don't watch a lot of those, smaller ones. Regardless, but in standing in defense of the translation of "I think I turned my childhood friend into a girl," L placed the blame for My Dear Friend Nokatan's terrible subtitles squarely on the shoulders of various Japanese studios involved in production. Quote, speaking of Nokatan, a few people have pointed out oddities in the English subtitles too, mainly a ton of missed capitalization for sentences slash proper nouns and a lack of split subtitles. She stated, quote, what's going on with this series? Did the licensor outsource the TL translation instead of using CR? I don't know what CR means, but I don't know. And she posted some examples there if you want to take a look at those of what she's talking about. Eh. As long as it's readable, I don't really care. I don't watch subs. I only watch dubs usually. Sometimes I watch subs, but not very often. Either way. Give me a second here. Okay. Quote, it's not unheard of for JP companies to do their own LOC, but when they don't know how localization works or what good localization looks like, it often ends up with disasters like these, she then acknowledged. Source, I've been hired a good amount of times to fix provided translations or Prodco provided translations. Okay. This is why educating creators, whether they're filmmakers, animator or animation companies, writers, game developers, etc., is so important. The Tokyo Mew Mew News The Tokyo Mew Mew new localizer emphasized, God, some of the names of these animes. Good translation is a profit enabler. Bad translation makes you look cheap and uncaring. The gushing with magical girls English localizer continued on her My Dear Friend Nokatan localization crusade in response to at Little Bit of Jeans tweet of the anime English subs. This is one of the strangest localization decisions I've seen in a long time," she stated. Even if the script is extremely workable, adapters in all languages have to tool it for lip flaps, shot lengths, etc. The only reason I can see them doing this, the Japanese company told them to. I work with dub studios around the world and or as part of my job, and a lot of the decisions we have revolves around adjusting important lines of dialogue for lip motions in ADR, she added. It's the trickiest part of ADR script writing and what makes a dub go from good to great. Yeah, and it goes on and on and on and on. Da 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 da. Tons of tweets. An updated version of the English sub release of my dear friend Nokatan's first episode has since been updated to Rimau's YouTube channel. Okay. So there you go. But here's the thing, just bottom line for all of that. If you were better at your job, like if some of these localizers were better at their job as far as like actually translating properly and not throwing in uh their own ideas on sociopolitical issues, digs at, trying to own the chuds and all this other just stupid crap. Maybe these companies would be more eager to hire you and more eager to trust you, but they don't trust you, and for good reason. You don't you had their trust and you burned it. And now a lot of these animes are being pumped out so quickly, I've noticed. Uh they complained it's not just Mappa Studios, but I've done videos on Mappa Studios. A lot of people feel like they're overworked and like they're just pumping out products so quickly. And if you're trying to get it out to an English audience quickly, then you're going to want the subtitles on there because most English audiences aren't going to watch it without subtitles or dubbed or something like that. So you're going to want to just slap some translation on there as quickly as possible. And if it's readable, I mean, it's good enough. It's not great. It's not best practice. But again, if they had people they could consistently trust that they weren't going to just butcher the translation for their own purposes and basically give the middle finger to the people who created the show and wrote the scripts, then maybe, just maybe, this wouldn't be such a big issue. Also on that, I saw Persona series English localizer decries a recently fired lovely complex dub writer, not for bad work, but for providing cultural warrior weirdos right. Okay, so basically saying so a localize again, localizers complaining that other localizers were fired for going against the script and writing their own script, making their own crap up, and then they're mad that they get fired for it. I don't know any other line of work where you can do that and then complain and cry that you got fired for doing it. Whatever. But let's move on. That's the only anime story I had. Let's move on to TV, shall we? Yeah, everybody's favorite show. By the way, I saw a certain hashtag was going around today. Hashtag renew the Acolyte. I've got to think that the majority of the people saying renew the Acolyte are people that actively want to see Disney burn to the ground and just go down in flames. But here we go. Sorry, I can't get rid of this. I looked high and low. There's like not an X on it for some reason. Prime Day, baby. But the Acolyte showrunner Leslie Headland says critics who take issue with Anakin Skywalker origin retcon are paying attention to the wrong aspects of the story. What? Acolyte showrunner Leslie Headland says she has mixed feelings regarding the fan backlash to her retconning of Anakin Skywalker's origin. Yeah, burn the past, baby. As confirmed in the third episode of the latest. Yeah, this was obviously this information is a little old because we're on like what episode 7 or 8 now with the Acolyte, but still bears repeating. As confirmed in the third episode of the latest Disney Star Wars disaster, rather than Anakin Skywalker being the first ever living creature to be conceived directly by the Force, that honor now belongs to the series protagonists, May and Osha, both of whom were brought to life hundreds of years before the Chosen One via their mother, Anastaea's magical manipulation of said universal energy. Yeah, these characters who predated Anakin by hundreds of years, that were conceived by the Force, they were twins. Not just one, but two. And we've never heard of them throughout the entire Star Wars saga until now, meaning that even though this big thing happened, they were incredibly insignificant to the overall universe. That makes tons of sense. Is she going to keep retconning? Well, of course she is. But anyway, in other words, rather than being a product of a miraculous event meant to signal his importance in the universe, Anakin's existence is now canonically just another instance of an admittedly rare but still previously seen phenomena. Also, Anakin was created specifically by the Force. There wasn't like an outside party creating him uh, in his mother's womb. And he was actually birthed by his mother, as far as we know, as far as they led us to believe in episode 1. So that's the first time that ever happened. This one, lesbian space witches used their powers of the Force to create life. Okay, whatever. Either way, getting back to this, unsurprisingly, the retcon prompted a wave of backlash from longtime Star Wars fans, many of whom considered it to be yet another instance of Disney attempting to run roughshod on George Lucas's original vision. Well, yeah. However, according to Headland, said backlash is not only misplaced, but is based on a complete misunderstanding of her writing. Oh, well, you see, her writing is so complex, you see, and so deep that we're just too stupid to understand it. That's what Alyssa Mercanti was talking about. You know, the famed writer, editor, whatever the hell she is for Kotaku, that likes to challenge people to fights, and then when they take her up on it, she backs down like a coward. Yeah, that's what she was saying. We just don't get it. You see, the writing is just so deep and intelligent. We don't get it. We're concentrating on the wrong things. You see. The Acolyte showrunner broached the topic of her Anakin related retcon during a post episode 7 interview with the Nerdist's Michael Walsh. By the way, I feel like I say this like at least once a week. I like bounding into comics for the most part. Sometimes they add some wacky crap into their articles, but I will say, edit, at least run your stuff through ChatGPT first or something. Like, I'm not one to rail against AI. I love AI. Do something. If you don't have enough money for an editor for all that, because they do pump out a lot of articles, run it through AI, man. Something, because there's a lot of like just grammar issues and spelling issues. Just anyway, uh, pressed by Walsh as to why, as revealed in the episode, May and Osha being two halves of one consciousness would make them stronger and not weaker. That's another thing. Headland asserted, quote, "I think it's both. The girls are guinea pigs. They're patient zero for this sort of power. It doesn't work perfectly. Therefore, the girls on their own can never be as powerful as Anakin. Their full potential together has yet to be explored. They've been separated too long," end quote. Okay. It's like when you're doing an experiment and it's the first round of it. There are maybe not the first, or they are maybe not the first, but one of the first experiments of this particular use of power. Continuing, Headland admitted, so the twins are weaker than Anakin for sure. They're going to fall short of what will eventually become the chosen one. They will never achieve what that is because, in my mind, Anastasia could only do so much. She's not powerful enough to create one person. The twins split, Anastasia's power split, and therefore a lot of her philosophy is about the power of two, about the fact that they must stay together. They must, they must stay together. The twins are stronger together if she keeps them together, and obviously there's an analogy to this of the isolationist feeling, not just of the coven, but also of family. If I keep you safe, then you won't get hurt. You won't get hurt. Why did she keep repeating herself? Is that just the writing, or did she actually repeat herself multiple times in that same thing? I don't know. Let's see. I just want to go over this last point. See what her other quotes are. What aspects of the series will prove important in the finale? Do you think people haven't focused on enough up to this point? She said that's a good question. I haven't been following the coverage of the show enough to really answer that. I did hear there was a bit of a dust up in terms of the girls stepping on Anakin's creation storyline, which I had mixed feelings about. She just going over the same stuff. It's probably for another deep dive to kind of talk about that. I would say that you might be missing the forest for the trees in starting an argument about that instead of seeing that this is a power that could have existed in the world way before Anakin, and that power was being pursued by someone. So it's not an issue of paying attention to, but I did hear about that, and I just think people aren't taking into account the era that we're in. What does that even effing mean? She's saying a lot of words there that mean absolutely nothing. This woman, god dang. It's the same problem I have with the Rings of Power, where it's a lot of dumb people writing a script that they think is really smart, and they say a lot of words. Um, and they're like, "Oh man, if we check this out, man, we're gonna say this, and it's really smart because we're intelligent people." I don't know. I can't even say it's an interesting take because it's not. It's really like everything that's come out of this woman's mouth has been a brain dead take. And I will say, and other people have said this too, from the uh, the zoomed out like Google Earth view of the whole thing. If you just look at the plot of the Acolyte, it's not a bad plot idea. Um, the things that like when you take it into account, uh, like they lay it all out for you. Oh well, these characters are doing this and blah blah blah, and two twins are separated. One's raised by Jedi, one's raised by Sith. What's the morality of all of this? Blah blah blah. Like it's a decent idea, but there's just like I don't know. From what I've seen from the show, it's just so badly written by bad actors. And I don't mean like some of the actors are bad, but it's written by people that just aren't smart people. They're not good people that deserve to have this in their hands. They're not the most capable people, and they just want to push certain things, and they're like, "Oh, but we got to jackhammer certain things into our script or it's not complete." They're those kind of people. And those are the kind of people that we don't need writing anything ever because it's just so tiresome. Like the pronoun BS in one episode. And then in a recent episode, I don't know if it was last week's or the week before, the Anasaia, whatever, they're showing how the one was taken by the Jedi, and the black lesbian space witch swells up, turns into this scary cloud demon looking thing in front of the Jedi, and the Jedi rightfully freaks the F out and stabs her with his lightsaber and kills her. And she's like, I was gonna let you take her or whatever. It's like, what the frick? That's like so I don't get pulled off here or whatever. It's like pulling out a pew pew on somebody, and the other person draws quicker and pews first, and you go down. You're like, oh, I was just gonna polish it, or I was just gonna hand it over to you. It's like, what the? No, 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 no. You're not the victim, and these people are stupid. The dialogue is dumb. The the politics that they jackhammer into certain episodes are dumb. Their logic is dumb. We're gonna get more into lore breaking when we talk about George R.R. Martin and some comments that he's had recently. Uh, and for the idiots that do all that, but yeah, it's just not good. It's not a good show. They're not. If you work within the confines of certain lore that's been established throughout the decades, and it's a bad show, well, whatever, you're not gonna win them all. But hot dang, man, these people are so just dumb. I don't know. Moving on. Last I think this is our last TV story. We don't have much. Let me double check. Yep, we only got 2 TV stories. Okay. So here we go. Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement confirmed that they're currently writing a second season of Time Bandits. This thing isn't even going to debut until like next week, and they're already greenlit for a season 2. They're writing a season 2. Apple TV's planning on this thing being just a massive success. We'll see. Oh, sorry. I saw something in the side here. I'm a Jujutsu Kaisen fan. Jujutsu Kaisen creator solidifies Gojo's death in new author's notes. I'm assuming that's in the manga. Oh, that's Jermaine Clement. Okay. That sucks. Anyway, Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement need fans to get behind Time Bandits to see what they have planned for season 2. The Apple TV Plus original series is based on the 1981 film by Terry Gilliam and features an eclectic cast. I talked about this last week. Let's see, which includes Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement. The leader of the gang of Time Bandits is Lisa Kudrow, who people may remember as Phoebe from Friends. Their next project is Time Bandits, the story of a boy who goes on a time-traveling adventure. While a second season hasn't been officially announced, Waititi and Clement confirmed that they have started the writing process. Maybe for nothing. I mean, we'll see. Although, how hard is it to get renewed on Apple TV Plus? I'm not saying that to be an a-hole. I'm honestly curious. Like, I don't know what numbers look like for Apple TV Plus. I can't imagine they're like fantastic for. I know some shows have supposedly been a decently big hit for them, but I don't know, man. Either way, Comicbook.com spoke to Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement at a virtual press day in support of Time Bandits ahead of the two-episode series debut on Wednesday, July 24th. Yeah, so next week. When asked if they've discussed doing a second season, Clement replied, quote, "We are actually writing a second season, but it depends on if people watch the first season. If no one watches it, we throw it away in the bin." He added, "But I cannot tell you because I don't want to spoil the second season." Okay. And then it goes on about all that, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, so are we gonna get a season 2? Is anybody gonna watch this thing? I'm honestly curious to see if there's any, like, buzz. I haven't really seen any internet buzz behind it. Time Bandits is one of them movies I've seen. It's on Max, I believe. If anybody has Max, formerly HBO Max. By the way, not to get off on a tangent about that, but Max, I've said from the beginning, Max is like the most horrible name they could have come up with for a streaming service. Like, what the F? Why? They should have just kept it HBO Max. Like, nobody likes Max. Plus, besides that, I hear they're changing it again, supposedly here soon. I can't even remember what the hell they're supposed to be calling it, but supposedly there's another freaking name change in the works. So yeah. Anyway, I have seen zero buzz about this, but like I said, the original Time Bandits movie is on Max, and I watched the trailer and I was like, this looks kind of goofy. I mean, I put it in my queue. I'm like, if I get bored someday, maybe I'll watch it. I am looking to. I'm really close. I'm on the last episode of Fallout. Uh, that that's been great. I'm loving Fallout. I know I'm late to the party, but it is what it is. Uh, but yeah, so I'm on the last episode of Fallout, and then saw that Boy and the Heron is finally available to watch. I've been wanting to watch that since they announced it, and it won. I think it didn't it win like best animated film of the year. Very excited about that. We will. I will definitely do a review of that after I watch Boy and the Heron because it's a Studio Ghibli film, and if anybody follows the channel on YouTube or Rumble, you'll know I review Studio Ghibli movies every once in a while. I give a breakdown of the plot and like my opinion on like, well, here's the messaging in it. They usually they try to put a message in there, and whether it was good or not. The only one I know, Howl's Moving Castle looks cool, and the concept is kind of cool, and it was a book. Most Studio Ghibli movies are books. Um, I don't know. It was so effing weird. I didn't understand most of it. And I know some people were like dogging me for it, but it's like, I don't know. It's so Studio Ghibli is weird, but that especially, I'm just like, I don't get it, man. But a lot of plot holes. But anyway, does anybody give a damn about Time Bandits? Do you think there's going to be enough meat on the bone for 2 seasons out of that weird, obscure 1980? Was it? What did I say? 83 film? Whatever. We'll have to see. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on. Keep her trucking. Okay. Sad news here. Let's move into not TV, not film, but just media in general. From IGN here. Shannen Doherty, star of Beverly Hills 90210 and Charmed, dies at 53. That is not very old at all, man. She's only 20 years older than me. So I saw her and Rose McGowan and Holly. I'm not going to tell you her last name from Charmed at Indiana Comic Con this past year. They were there. Uh, I was never a big Charmed fan, but I watched. Well, my mom watched quite a bit when I was growing up, and so I saw a few episodes every once in a while with her, and like I never watched 90210. She was in well, Mallrats. She was the girlfriend in Jason Lee's girlfriend in Mallrats. But yeah, so I don't know. It was cool to see her. I knew she'd been sick for a while. Honestly, I'm surprised she fought as long and hard as she did. Good for her that she fought so hard. It really sucks, man. It sucks so bad when you see like somebody puts up such a hard fight to cancer and they can't do it. Uh, I'm sure her body was just like tired of it, man. After so long, it's like, dude, just the body can only take so much, unfortunately. Um, she had breast cancer, obviously, but I will say, I mean, yeah, obviously she looks older, but she also had some hard living before the cancer. All things considered, she looked good for all that she'd been through, and she looked fairly strong again for all that she'd been through when I saw her at Comic-Con. She's the second person that I've seen at Comic-Con that's passed away. The other one was Carrie Fisher in Indiana, might I add. So the Indiana Comic-Con is just apparently where I see people before they pass. Um, sucks, but as reported by Variety, Doherty's ooh crap, I think I hit my camera here. Did I? Yeah. Ah, crap. Let me get back. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Sorry. My camera is extremely touchy. Let's see. Variety, Doherty's publicist, Leslie Sloan, said in a statement that the actress passed after a battle with breast cancer that began back in 2015. 9 freaking years battling cancer. It's with a heavy heart that I confirmed the passing of actress Shannen Doherty. On Saturday, July 13th, she lost her battle with cancer after many years of fighting the disease. The devoted daughter, sister, aunt, and friend was surrounded by her loved ones, as well as her dog, Bowie. The family asked for their privacy at this time so they can grieve in peace. And it goes on just talking about. She also appeared in Little House on the Prairie, The Secrets of Nim, Magnum PI, Airwolf, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and more. As I mentioned, she was in Mallrats. Oh, yeah, here we go. And Jane Silent Bob Strike Back. I don't remember that. Charmed, obviously, she played Prue. She was the one, Holly Marie Combs. That was it. Alyssa Milano was not there. She was conspicuous by her absence. I don't know. None of them talked about her. Nobody asked about her. I don't know what kind of relationship they have with her. I know she's a little goofy. So yeah. I'm just assuming that she's too goofy. Maybe she doesn't like it. Maybe they're choosing Rose McGowan over her, and I'm assuming Alyssa Milano doesn't like Rose McGowan because she dared to speak on Fox News a couple of times, and Alyssa Milano just can't. She gives no quarter for that. She is a wackadoo. So maybe that was it, but I can't say for sure. Or maybe she doesn't get along with somebody else. I don't know. What in the crap, man? I'm sorry. I'm like doing multiple things at once here. And okay. I see what my problem was. Da, 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 da. Okay, anyway. But yeah, so rip Shannen Doherty, man. Sucks. She fought for a long time. She fought hard. Cancer blows, man. It does not discriminate. It just sucks for everyone and everything. My grandmother got breast cancer. Um, I don't know, 2016, 17, something like that. Luckily, she caught it early enough. She was able to get rid of it. She's been dealing with skin cancer off and on since I think before I was born. She started dealing with skin cancer. So I've been very fortunate. She's been very fortunate that it hasn't taken her life. But yeah, it's rough, man. It's a monster. It does not discriminate. Speaking of monsters, I have to tread lightly with my wording on this next article. This one hit me in the face. I was like, whoa, bam. Uh, with all the talk about Nickelodeon, and this wasn't directly like, as far as I know, nobody at Cartoon Network was like, it's not like they were messing with the talent, but god dang it. Why does this pop up keep happening? Kyle Carrazza, Cartoon Network creator, arrested on CP charges. Mighty Magiswords creator has been arrested on CP charges. Here we go. Kyle Carrozza, excuse me, creator behind Mighty Magiswords for Cartoon Network, has been arrested on 2 counts of CP possession. Carrozza was arrested and booked in Burbank, California on the morning of Thursday, June 20th by the Burbank Police Department on 2 counts of CP possession. So this is almost a month old, but the news is fresh. So I don't know why it took them so long to dig into this, but as reported by the daily arrest log from the Burbank Police Department, Carrozza was arrested as part of an investigation by the Internal Crimes Against Children task force in Burbank. The creator has been charged under the California Penal Code, blah, 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 blah. Carrozza has also been charged with an enhanced whatever charge, which is for individuals knowingly in possession of at least 12 videos or 600 images of CP. Yikes. If found guilty of the charges, Carrozza will then be ordered to register as an offender and can be charged either as a misdemeanor or felony with 1 year of county jail time or up to 5 years of state prison, depending on the punishment. And then it runs down what is Mighty Magiswords. Apparently, it's that. He also recently worked with projects such as The Fairly Odd Parents, A New Wish, but will most likely be recognized as a creator behind Mighty Magiswords. I've never heard of Mighty Magiswords. I haven't watched Cartoon Network in years, so no clue. It was removed from Max a few years back, but ran for 92 episodes through the course of its run. Yeah. I wanted to pull up a picture of this dude, by the way, because I just wanted to make a point. I know what you're all thinking. I know what you're all thinking. Da 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 da. Check this out. Huh. There he is. It's always the ones you most expect, right? Them Panda Boys? What the frick? Good God. I mean, really. Good God. And there's Mighty Magisword. Wow, you get the full body view right there, man. Not like I am the look, I'm not the bastion of in shapedness and whatnot. But holy cow! And the hair, the chops, the outfit. Who the hell wears vests like that all the time, man? Those are how many lockers was he stuffed into as a kid? That's my question. Could he fit? Yikes. All I'm saying is if it, and Moist Critical made this point. It's like you went to an AI art generator and typed in uh child predator. Like that looks like an AI art generated image of a child predator. Like like I said, man, it's always the ones you most expect, isn't it? I guess since he was charged, I don't know if I have to say allegedly, whatever. Keep in mind, I just read that article. I'm not calling him whatever. I just said he looks like, and I read what he was charged with. Do with that what you will. All right. So before we get into this next article, which is what I teased earlier, so we have a couple of foster cats, and my wife always because we have a big TV in our spare bedroom where the foster cats are, and my wife always plays shows or music or something throughout the day and night for them so that they get used to voices and different sounds and whatever. It really does help like puppies and kittens and whatever growing up get used to people and things. But anyway, she's been she found Bluey and she put that on a loop. So they've been watching nonstop Bluey. I also wanted to point out, look what somebody is selling for $30. I don't know if this is going to show up in the camera very well. Crud. Let me see if I can. Yeah, it's still not going to show up. So basically, what this is a life-size Hezbollah cutout. Yeah, you can see it a little bit that way. They're selling that for $30 on Facebook Market. If anybody wants a good laugh, just scroll through Facebook Marketplace. You'll find the wildest stuff. I've seen people selling food. I've seen people selling like just things shaped like whatever. It's hilarious. Real quick before we get into this next thing, I did want to pause real quick to just let you know we are available everywhere. We are on if you want to follow us on YouTube, which is where all of our archives are all the way back to when we started. I say we, it's just me at this point. But Greg and I, my friend, started this podcast, Main Event Marks, which is why you'll still see that some places. It's a retro wrestling podcast. We started that back in June of 2020. You can find all the archives of that podcast in video form on there. You can find clips from the show, shorts, extras, all that stuff. If you're not into wrestling and you just want the Marks on Media stuff, that's all on there too from the very first time. It's all compiled into one single playlist on the channel. You can check that out. It's on Rumble too. Everything from Marks on Media. I don't know if I started the Rumble right away. I think I did, but don't quote me on that. I don't know how far back the Rumble archives go. Plus, there are a lot of shorts on YouTube that you can't find anywhere else, only on YouTube. Go check that out. But if you want to follow on YouTube, it's youtube.com/@marksonmedia. If you want to follow on Rumble, it's rumble.com/C/marksonmedia. Or if you want everything, it's rumble.com/user/main event marks is the full username. If you want to join the locals, I I will post once I get some members on locals and some paid members on YouTube. I will be posting exclusive paid behind the paywall content, and I will take suggestions for that. But you have to join first, either as a member on YouTube or, like I said, join the locals. It's locals.com/marks on media /feed. Don't forget that last part because I've tried locals.com/marks on media and it doesn't come up. You got to put the /feed at the end. If you feel like following the live shows on Kick, maybe that's where you spend most of your time for streams. It's kick.com/marks on media. On X/Twitter, you can follow me. The handle's it's at marks_on_media. Marks on media was already taken. I went with this at marks_on_media. Same thing on Instagram. I'm currently live on Instagram right now. It's instagram.com/marks_on_media. And Facebook. I am live on Facebook right now. It is facebook.com/marks on media tube. Everything was taken on there. Unfortunately, uh, so, instead of uniformity, which I tend to go for, that's what you get. But anyway, like I said, Marks on Media Tube on Facebook. That's where you can find me. But let's get back into all the news here, shall we? Basically, I'm available everywhere, just so you know. Game of Thrones creator George R.R. Martin warns creators, ignore canon and the world you've created comes apart like tissue paper. Yeah, all these Hollywood writers, why do I have to pay attention to the world building? Why do I have to pay attention to the canon? Why do I have to pay attention to the backstories? Duh, dude. If you are an actual writer of any kind, this should be self-evident. But apparently it's not for a lot of people. Game of Thrones creator George R.R. Martin issued a scathing warning to Hollywood creators and others that think they can ignore canon. Their world or worlds they are adapting will fall apart. Let's see. In a new blog post, Martin discussed the dragons in Game of Thrones and compared and contrasted them to various other dragons, such as J.R.R. Tolkien's Smaug and Verimthrax pejorative. Good God. In Dragon Slayer. Yeah, sorry, I never read Dragon Slayer. As well as Toothless in How to Train Your Dragon, among others. Give me 1 second. Okay, after detailing how adaptations of their series got the Targaryen heraldry wrong by including dragons with 4 limbs rather than 2, Martin asserted, quote, fantasy needs to be grounded. It is not simply a license to do anything you like. Smaug and Toothless may both be dragons, but they should never be confused. Ignore canon, and the world you've created comes apart like tissue paper. These comments come about a month after Martin bashed Hollywood screenwriters and producers for believing that they can improve on the source material of standout authors such as Ian Fleming, Stan Lee, J.R.R. Tolkien, and others when they attempt to adapt their stories to film or television. He wrote on his blog, quote, everywhere you look, there are more screenwriters and producers eager to take great stories and make them their own. It does not seem to matter whether their source material was written by Stan Lee, yada, 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 all those authors, or, well, anyone. No matter how major a writer is, no matter how great the book is, there always seems to be someone on hand who thinks they can do better, eager to take a story and improve on it. He continued, "The book is the book, the film is the film. They will tell you as if they were saying something profound." I kind of went over this in a previous video. Basically, and here he praises Shogun and whatever for adapting a book into a film. Kind of going over. Uh, okay, this seems a little interesting. I'll have to check out. I don't know what the hell a Throne of Bones is, but I'll have to look into it. Either way, Martin made similar comments back in 2000 or in 2022 alongside novelist Neil Gaiman. Also covered in my previous video about it. Martin then detailed there are changes you have to make, and there or that you're called upon to make, and I think are legitimate, and there are other ones that are not legitimate. Yeah, something new here. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Variety's Ethan Schanfeld then details Martin recalled Roger Zelazny adapting The Last Defender of Camelot for the Twilight Zone, and that due to budget constraints, being forced to choose between having horses or an elaborate Stonehenge-esque set for a battle scene, Martin did not want to make the decision, so he left it up to Zelazny, who chose to cut the horses. Martin explained, quote, "That, to my mind, is the kind of stuff you are called upon to do in Hollywood that is legitimate." He even noted this is why the Iron Throne is not depicted in the show as it is written in the books. Quote, "Why is the Iron Throne in Game of Thrones not the Iron Throne as described in the books? Why is it not 15 feet high and made of 10,000 swords? Because the ceiling in our soundstage was not 15 feet high. We couldn't fit it in there, and they were willing to give us and they weren't willing to give us St. Paul's Cathedral or Westminster Abbey to shoot our little show in." Yeah, I mean, it's still a big throne. I get that. Nothing is going to be exact, like one to one. I will say he's going to get into some stuff about J.R.R. Tolkien and whatever. Normally, he's fairly complimentary. I will say, when he insults, like he's made some like snide comments in the past about J.R.R. Tolkien, and he said something before about like, well, he said that Aragorn ruled for however many years and he was a great ruler, but what about his tax policy? Like, who gives a damn, dude? You didn't even finish your book series. Shut up. But anyway, getting back to this, Martin's most recent comments echo what J.R.R. Tolkien wrote in his On Fantasy Stories essay. Tolkien detailed that a storymaker proves himself a successful sub-creator when he makes a secondary world which your mind can enter. Inside it, what he relates is true. It accords to the laws of that world. You therefore believe it while you are, as it were, inside. Okay. Going on with all that. Let's see. Yeah, so that was it. That's the end of the article. Wow, weird. Okay. Basically, the article is just talking about George is basically telling Hollywood, stay in your damn lane. If you're going to adapt it, and I've said this before too. I want to see the exact name of my video because it's on YouTube and Rumble. It's called Hollywood Doesn't Respect Source Material or You. So if you want to check that out, I was proud of that video actually. But yeah, no, Hollywood really doesn't give a damn about the original story that was loved. That is the reason why they're writing this script now. Like there was a book and there was a there was an audience for that book and that world and that story, and you are chosen to adapt that. Don't try to make it your own. I mean, obviously, it's going to have, because you're the one writing it, it's going to have your own take on that story, but it needs to be minimal. Like you don't need to change the wording, the dialogue. You don't need to change the meanings behind things. And certain things like what Martin was talking about, like, budget constraints. You're not going to have this gigantic effing Iron Throne because of budget constraints, and you have nowhere to put the damn thing and whatever. I think the throne, in the way the Iron Throne looks in House of the Dragon, is more like it was supposed to look in the book, but it's still smaller. You know, I don't know. It just, be respectful. And these Hollywood types are always like, I can do it better. I can do it for a modern audience, whatever. It needs to. I need to be able to see myself in the politics of this book. That kind of garbage, and it really gets old after a while, because it's like, you weren't the one. Yeah, you're the one adapting it into a script, but literally AI could do that now. If you want it accurately done anymore, just run it through frickin' AI and put these idiots out of work. But no, these showrunners and these Hollywood scriptwriters decide, I know it's better. I know better than the fans. I know better than the author. I can do it better. And George R. R. Martin saying what people have been saying forever: quit freaking doing that. There's a built-in audience that you're chasing off, like they did with Rings of Power, like they did toward, and this is partly George's fault with the last few seasons of Game of Thrones, because he stopped writing the damn books. The Wheel of Time, I never read them, but from what I've heard from people who have read those books, they're not happy. And I like The Witcher, but I've heard that they're not really like the books at all. And Yennefer does not have as big a role in the books as she does in the show. But she's a woman of color, so supposedly, people who work very deep in Netflix have said, "Look, you can have a white male lead for your Netflix show, but he's not technically going to be the lead, if you know what I mean. Like, he's going to be there, but he's not going to be the star of the show." So you got to work around that with The Witcher. And now that Liam Hemsworth has worked his way in there, I suspect that will continue for the final season of The Witcher, the final 2 seasons, whatever the F. All right, let's see how similar this one is to that last article. George R. R. Martin calls out Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon for messing up Targaryen sigil. Not for, never for. All right, let's see here. A Song of Ice and Fire author George R. R. Martin calls out HBO's Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon for messing up the House Targaryen sigil. Martin outlined his philosophy behind the dragon's presence in Game of Thrones in a blog post, saying they're designed to be realistic and thus have 2 legs and not 4, never 4. Just like bats and birds and winged dinosaurs and every other real animal. Quote, no animal has ever lived on Earth has 6 limbs, Martin said. Okay, yeah, there's the one it's supposed to be on the left and the one they designed on the right. I don't know which one, because I have a t-shirt with the Targaryen sigil on it. I'd have to go back and look. I never really paid attention. But then again, I didn't write the book, so he therefore designed the Targaryen sigil as a dragon with 2 legs and 2 wings, and admittedly 3 heads, but this was a purely symbolic reflection of Aegon the Conqueror and his 2 sisters. For what it's worth, the show got it half right, Martin said. Excuse me. Game of Thrones gave us the correct two-legged sigil for the first 4 seasons and most of the 5th, but when Danny's fleet hove into view, the sails showed 4-legged dragons. Someone got sloppy, I guess, or someone opened a book on heraldry and read just enough of it to muck it up. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing, he added. The popularity of Game of Thrones show even created some new covers for the books that placed the wrong Targaryen sigil directly on Martin's work, and it's seeped its way into House of the Dragon too. How is that? Did his publisher approve that? It's kind of dirty. The author should be able to approve that, say yay or nay. I'm imagining he doesn't have that right. But anyway, quote, a couple of years ago, House of the Dragon decided the heraldry should be consistent with Game of Thrones, but they went with the bad sigil rather than the good one, he said. That sound you hear was me screaming, no, no, no. Those damned extra legs have even wormed their way onto the cover of my books over my strenuous objections. Martin's outcries might stop the sigil being used in the next Game of Thrones spinoff, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. The series, expected late 2025, follows Sir Duncan, the tale of Aegon V Targaryen, around 100 years before Game of Thrones takes place. Isn't that around the same time as House of the Dragon? Or maybe it's a little past House of the Dragon? I don't know. The author will perhaps spend a few words hammering home the two-legged design of his next novel, too. The Winds of Winter, which is also set to expand the relationship or explain the relationship between dragons and humans. Martin still hasn't revealed when fans will get to discover those secrets, as The Winds of Winter is so far 10 years late and seemingly making slow progress. He said in November 2023 that he'd written 1,100 pages of the highly anticipated book, the same number he'd written a year earlier. God dang. Yeah, a lot of this is your fault, George. A lot of it is your fault. My gosh. Okay. I will say I have a hard out now. I didn't when I started. At least I didn't think so. But I do now. So some stuff came up. I'm having some computer issues that needs to be addressed. But there are a few stories I wanted to run through quickly. So we'll get to them. Boop, doo, 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 doo. Okay, Universal Studios will not sell single-day Epic Universal tickets at opening. Kind of curious what this is all about. The opening of Epic Adventure, the 4th theme park at Universal Orlando Resort, is going to be a very exciting time for the entire Orlando theme park industry, with crowds expected to swell at opening. Many have been wondering how Universal will control crowd sizes. A recent communication from Universal to ticket vendors may have answered that question. Third-party services have been informed by Universal that Epic Universe tickets will only be available for purchase with a 3-day ticket package. Jeez. Only one of those days will be earmarked for Epic Universe. So, in other words, if you want to go to Epic Universe, you'll need to also visit one or two of the other theme parks on Universal property. That includes Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, or Volcano Bay Water Park. That kind of sucks. Sources from within Universal have confirmed a phased opening of Epic Universe, noting that single and multi-day tickets for the new park will be made available at a later time. Oh, so they're actually putting the Nintendo World there too. Awesome. And the Dark Universe, they're doing that. I did a story about that. Quote, we plan to offer a range of ticket products to help manage the expected demand for Epic Universe and to ensure all guests visiting have a great experience at the groundbreaking park. We are currently speaking exclusively to our sales partners to help them prepare for the sales effort to follow. We are introducing products in a phased approach, starting with a multi-day ticket packages that include an opportunity to visit Epic Universe, in addition to the entire Universal Orlando Resort for those planning vacations further out. Additional ticket options, including multi-day and single-day tickets and ticket add-ons, will be made available in additional phases. Details will be shared at a later date. Now they're going to have How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk at Universal. Nice. Universal's awesome as far as like really helping you to dive into another world. You go to the Springfield area for The Simpsons, and it's like you're diving right in. If you go to the Harry Potter, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, it's like you're walking straight through the movie. It's just it's epic. It really is. Not to, and I know it's epic adventure or whatever, but it seriously is. It's a cool experience. Even my wife never really liked the Harry Potter movies, but walking through the Harry Potter area was so cool for her because she's like, "Oh wow, it's just it really is just like the movies." So she was fascinated by it. It was really cool. The food's good, the rides are fun. I personally, I don't like this ticket option. Um, it might be okay, but especially with the big crowds that are probably going to show up right away. Uh, I'd wait a little bit. I'll if I go, it'll be in a year or two. The Nintendo World really excites me too. That looks awesome. I'm back to consuming energy drinks today. Another Universal story here, really quickly. But up. Universal's Halloween Horror Nights frequent fear passes are now on sale, with some options selling out already. Gangbusters, man. And Halloween is still like 3 months away. 4? 3. Yeah, 3 months away. Halloween is an exciting time in the Orlando theme park scene. There are many special events taking place throughout the theme park community, from Disney's family-friendly Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party to more horror-based events like SeaWorld's Hallow Scream and, of course, Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. Halloween Horror Nights has become something of a phenomenon in recent years, with the event boasting massive attendance numbers with long wait times posted for the 10 themed haunted houses of the year. Many of these are IP based. Last year, we saw houses dedicated to Child's Play, Stranger Things, The Last of Us, and more, along with a slew of original concepts. Some of the ones coming this year: Insidious, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, A Quiet Place, and what the hell? Check back for more. Okay. That's crazy. Like, that crazy awesome. I'm not big into Halloween. I'm not one of those people. Um, like an annual pass to the parks, there are different tiers associated with different passes benefits. Benefit differences include blockout dates, uh, access to ex- access to Express Pass, and more. Yesterday, frequent fear passes went on sale with 7 tiers. You can see them all there. However, frequent fear with Express Pass, frequent fear plus with Express Pass, and ultimate frequent fear with Express Pass sold out on the first day. Jeez, man. Oh, they're gonna have an Exorcist Believer one. That movie sucked, but whatever. Frequent fear options are still available without Express Pass. This was confirmed through Universal Orlando's website. With non-Express Pass, frequent fear passes are still available. Last year, we saw all frequent fear levels sell out by September 29th. Jump on it. If you're in the area, if you're going to the area, if you want to go, jump on it quickly. Uh, like I said, Universal really puts you in. So if you want a safe way to go through a horror film or your favorite horror themed show, there, I think the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire one would be awesome. Insidious would be friggin' cool. It looks like a lot of fun if I was down there. My wife and I went for our honeymoon in late August of 2016. They were already setting up for Halloween Horror Nights. They had they put like vines growing around certain sculptures and whatever there, or statues. I mean, so that was kind of cool. It was just, it was fun to see. I'm like, oh, they're setting up for it. Uh, I think Disney, it's like overnight. They're like, bam. Universal does it kind of in stages, I think. But yeah. So if you're a fan of all that stuff, check it out. Hop on those passes quick because they will sell out. All right. Last thing here, I want to get into. Possibly, I don't think I'm going to have time for anything else. There were a few more stories I kind of wanted to touch on, but I might have to save them till later. Maybe do some shorts on them. Okay, last movie story I got here. Rumor: Marvel's Eternal star Kumail Nanjiani to star as race-swapped Booster Gold in James Gunn's DC Cinematic Universe. Yeah. According to the new rumor, Marvel Eternal star Kumail Nanjiani may soon be getting a second shot at superherodom, courtesy of James Gunn and his brand new DC Cinematic Universe. Word of Nanjiani's potential leap from Marvel to DC was first broken to the public, courtesy of pop culture news outlet uh, Nexus Point News. I don't know why I couldn't read that. In terms of credibility, while the Nexus Point news outlet as a whole has yet to fully confirm any of its previously floated scoops, is co-editor in chief Demet K, has broken a number of Marvel Magic related scoops via his at Scarlet Witch updates Twitter account.
Yeah, Pro Plan Sport. Fuels athletic dogs. Just like mine.
What is Plan? Okay. That was weird. These include Elizabeth Olsen's return as Wanda for What If Season 2, the full identities of Agatha All Along's core cast, and the inclusion of an Agatha All Along featurette in the WandaVision Steelbook release, which he obtained and fully leaked while ahead of its official shelf date. Okay, just talk about the dude's credibility. The outlet's Matthew W. alleged that the actor has not only landed the role of Booster Gold in the DC universe, but was also currently set to portray the character in the upcoming DC Studios series Booster Gold, one of the upcoming entries in the highly anticipated DCU. Okay, I mean, if you're gonna race swap him, I guess you could do worse than Nanjiani. But like, isn't his hair kind of like, the blonde hair kind of iconic? And if they did that to Nanjiani, it would look hella weird. Ugh. And it goes on to talk about who Booster Gold is, yada, yada, yada. History behind the character. I don't care. I just think it's weird. Booster Gold makes an acquaintance of the titular team's DC Legends of Tomorrow. And he played Booster Gold in the... God. Whatever. You got to race swap somebody, I guess, to be in modern day Hollywood. And if you're going to do it, why not? I'm not a big fan of Kumail Nanjiani. I don't think he's all that. He's been a golden boy the last few years. Like, oh, he speaks English very well. He's brown. He's kind of funny. He's recognizable. He's in good shape. I don't know. I don't think he needs to be in everything, but whatever. Final stuff here. Let's get into games just to wrap things up. Assassin's Creed Shadows, accused of using Zoro's sword from One Piece and props from Amazon as official artwork. That is effed. Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows are now being accused of using One Piece's Roronoa Zoro's katana as well as props purchased from Amazon as official artwork for the game. Gross. In a post to the game's official French account on X, a translation from Deep L reads Katana and Yasuke's mask for artwork of the game at our Ubisoft booth at the Japan Expo offers you an immersive experience. It adds, we will be immersing you in the spirit of the game until Sunday, July 14th. So we're going to get into the that expo here in a bit, but my God, this is just wow. The company was accused by X user. I'm not even gonna attempt to read that. Of grabbing the products off of Amazon. A translation from Deep L reads: official Assassin's Creed Shadows merchandise is available from Amazon. He then shared a number of product images that match what the Assassin's Creed France account posted. My word, that's so effed. Official merch, huh? Former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern also identified the katana on the stand as Roronoa Zoro's sword from One Piece. He wrote on X, quote, Ubisoft ripped off One Piece, gives fake samurai Yasuke Roronoa Zoro's katana at Japan Expo. That's going to piss off even more Japanese. He continued, I'm getting sent a flood of references for what Assassin's Creed Shadows has ripped off from Japanese artists, but this is the worst one so far. Oh, God. I mean, if that's true, I mean, it looks like it. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see if it pulls up. Let me pull this up here. Okay, here we go. Pitches. That's a katana there. That's a katana there. Oh my God, it is the same one. Oh my God. Holy crap. Yikes, man. Both the katana and stand are sold by a French company called Freinaman that sells a reproduction of Zoro's Sendai Katetsu. The katana and stands are listed on the company's website for $39.99. The geisha statue looks very similar to a $14.99 listing from manufacturer whatever that is found on Amazon. A similar listing is of all or is available for 3-piece set for DDC on through Amazon. Yikes. Okay. Ubisoft Japan recently issued an apology for using the black flag of the Sekigahara Tepo Corp without the reenactment group's permission. The black flag was shown in a promotional video for the game, as noted by former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern. Just calling them out all over the place, man. Man, they're just ripping people off. They're not doing their research. But no, this game is going to be fire, man. Crap on the haters. Crap on the haters, man. Here we go. There's more. There's more yet to come. Actually, I'm going to go over this one first since I talked about the Japan Expo. Assassin's Creed Shadows booth receives sparse traffic at Japan Expo. Maybe that's why nobody called it out until like way later, because like nobody was freaking paying attention. Report claims that Ubisoft's booth at Japan Expo for Assassin's Creed Shadow received sparse traffic throughout the weekend. X-user RC_166 shared a photo or shared photos from the convention on July 12th and commented, quote, "The other booths were crowded, but the Assassin's Creed Shadow booth was, as you can see. The chairs were used as resting spots. I wonder if the French are angry too." That's sad. Former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern, aka Grums, would react to this post and share more information with his sources on the ground. First, he stated, quote, "The bad news and outright awful mistakes Ubisoft is making are just piling up. There's more than what I can post in a day. The Assassin's Creed booth was empty at Japan Expo compared to the other crowded booths. Even the French don't seem to be excited for this game." On July 14th, he added, "Just got a report from someone at Japan Expo. Ubisoft staff are asking that anyone using the seats at the Assassin's Creed Shadows booth to turn around and face the screen. People, people are using them as benches to watch the much more popular Nintendo booth across the way. Nobody cares about Ubisoft. Nobody cares, bro." Next, he shared another photo from the booth and wrote, "Another shot of the Assassin's Creed Shadows booth. They are showing exclusive gameplay, but it's the same video they already posted to YouTube. If you stay till the very end, Ubisoft gives you a bag of goodies." Wow. The official Assassin's Creed France account on X had previously promised that the booth would give potential players an immersive experience when it initially promoted it back on July 11th. And there's all that crap they bought off Amazon. However, it was quickly discovered that the katana shown in the picture was, yeah. I already went over that. Dude. I like what Grums posted here. So Ubisoft has raided Japanese culture, appropriating vast swaths of it without permission, and they are very, very upset. It was not approached with any respect. Lantern and other artifacts taken without permission. This is one of many examples Japanese keep sending me. But Ubisoft calls them racist grifters who complain. Don't buy Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yeah, this is a thing. I keep being told, "Oh, but the pre-orders are so high in Japan, and Japan loves it, and whatever." All I'm seeing is just a massive swarm of negative press out of Japan about this game. The Japanese do not like it, and they argue 2 points at the same time to me. On one hand, they're like, "Well, Yasuke was a real historical figure. Why wouldn't they use him?" Because they're like, "You just don't like him because he's black." And I said, "No, I don't like him because it's, first of all, you're in feudal Japan and you're like, nah, we're not going to go with a Japanese guy. We're going to go with a black guy because diversity. And then they say, yeah, but he was a real Japanese historical figure and he was a real samurai. And I say, no, he wasn't. Yeah, he existed, but he was not a samurai. All evidence points against that. They're not accurately portraying Japanese history. And then they go, yeah, but when has Assassin's Creed ever accurately portrayed history? And I'm like, but that was your first argument. Is the only reason we're doing this is because it was part of real Japanese history. And it's just like a circular argument with them. And then it comes down to them of, who cares? You're racist. Every effing time. Because apparently it's racist to fight for the Japanese people to be represented. That's racist now. Effing stupid. Last friggin' article regarding this garbage ass game I want to cover. Backlash from Japanese players prompts national politician to investigate cultural theft of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Let's effing go. A Japanese politician is investigating after players within his country leveled complaints of cultural theft against Ubisoft's upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows. The politician in question, Satoshi Hamada, is a member of the House of Councilors, whatever, it's spelled weird, sorry, the upper house of the Japanese National Diet. One of the two members of the Independent Party to Protect the People of NHK, a party whose platform is built on opposing the government broadcasts TV, all but mandatory licensing fees, and whose memberships has fallen apart following a recent leadership dispute. Hamada has recently joined the ranks of many Japanese nationals who have found themselves outraged over the number of historical inaccuracies presented in Ubisoft's upcoming game. They did not treat this with respect and reverence at all. On July 11th, Hamada retweeted a post from a fellow Japanese X user summarizing the various issues local players have with Assassin's Creed Shadows presentation, such as how some of its buildings feature Chinese instead of Japanese architecture. Excuse me. Chinese instead of Japanese architecture, or how a lowly servant can be seen sitting on the same level as Oda Nobunaga himself. Alongside his retweet, the politician made a request for opinions from the general public, as machine translated via DeepL, informing them, quote, "We have received a consultation regarding the alteration of Japanese history by a French game company. We share the consultation below with images. We have also quoted a post that we believe points out the problem with the game in question. We would be happy to receive your comments and suggestions, including specific requests," end quote. Further, Hamada shared a list of related concerns that have already been brought to his attention, which, in addition to the above points, also made note of the possibility that Yasuke's prominence in the game's plot could lead to misconceptions that he had a bigger role in Japanese history than he actually did. I mean, yeah. Less than 24 hours later, Hamada shared an update writing, quote, "Thank you for your many comments about the new Assassin's Creed series of games set in Japan. In relation to the above, we received a consultation from another person about cultural theft and cultural invasion regarding Yasuke, a black man who served Nobunaga Oda. I will share the content of the consultation with you." From there, Hamada proceeded to share 2 tweets worth of images showing feedback that he'd received from Japanese citizens regarding the game. Therein, one of the most common complaints was perceived cultural theft of Yasuke, or perhaps it would be better to call it cultural invasion. Yeah, some even brought up the ongoing war surrounding Yasuke's various Wikipedia pages. Uh, yeah, they keep fighting about it and going back and forth. And I mean, Japan isn't on the whole, Japan isn't happy about this. They're just not, and it's not okay. It's not cool. They're not having a good time with it. They're pretty pissed, fired up. I don't blame them. And and I brought up this point before. There have been games set in this time period for a long time. Nobody is getting this. None of those games got this same kind of pushback, the same kind of blowback, the same kind of, and it's not all about Yasuke. They like the bad actors and the whiners online all like to, oh, well, you just hate black men. You just don't want black men in your games because there's never been a black man ever in the history of gaming as a main freaking character. Never. Yasuke's the first one. Like, no, this is just stupid. And he's not the only complaint. First, and like I said, it's the circular argument of, yeah, but he's a real person. Yeah, but that wasn't like, if he was a real person, then why are they making him a samurai, which he wasn't, making him a bigger part of history, which he wasn't, giving you the ability to make him bisexual, which he wasn't. Yeah, but Assassin's Creed isn't based on reality. Okay, then why is your first argument that he was a real historical figure? Yeah, but they had George Washington in there doing whatever. It's like, yeah, it was like a what if he made a different decision along the way kind of deal, as like an extra DLC or some bullcrap. I don't even like remember all the details off the top of my head, but it's like, this is completely different, and it's not just the Yasuke thing. Like, that's bad enough, but then they're adding in, like that just said about, they're adding in Chinese architecture, where in feudal Japan, which just blows my mind that you could make that kind of mistake. Like, someone like me, uh, like I'm not doing this research. I'm not looking that deep into it. So it doesn't matter to me. It matters to the people of Japan. It should matter to the people designing the damn game. And then they're the crap that they just bought randomly off of Amazon. Zoro's sword from One Piece is his katana, and then you're like, here we go. It's exclusive from the game. Eat ass, man. So disrespectful. And then the stuff about, yeah, you have like a just a commoner on the same level as Nobunaga. Like, good, no respect. And they're like, oh, but we have this researcher. She's actually Japanese by descent, I believe. And she studied Japanese culture. No, 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 no. She studied queer Japanese culture and what queerness meant to Japan back in the day and the Eastern world. That's what she studied. Because that's all she cares about is queerness, not the actual culture and the actual history of Japan. So of course, that's who they hired to consult on this game. Not an actual historian, not somebody who actually knows what the hell they're talking about and can help them be respectful to the culture. They've never done this before in a game. Any other game like Ghost of Tsushima, Rise of the Ronin, different games like that, never had these kind of complaints. This is like the first one. But no, racism is what they're going to go with. Anyway, that is my time, everybody. I did have a couple stories that I wanted to go over past that, but I already blew past my hard time, as I always do. Real quick, before we wrap up here, I did want to say, if you want to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, I am at Marks_on_media. I am very active on all of them every single day. If you want to subscribe on YouTube and stay notified about all my content, youtube.com/at main event, or I'm sorry, at Marks on Media. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my old handle. Rumble It's rumble.com/user/main event marks or rumble.com/c/marks on media. On locals, join my locals, and I will start posting exclusive stuff behind the paywall. It is locals.com/marks on media/feed. If you want to follow me on Kick, when I go live, it's kick.com/marks on media. And on Facebook, I am now I changed everything. I'm more active on Facebook now every single day. It's facebook.com/marks on media tube. So that's what I got for you today. I hope you all had a good time. Thank you for joining me. Sorry we couldn't go live on X. I don't know what the hell went on there, but either way, we will see you at a later time. See ya. Oh, and do 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 do. Bye.